the only magic could be from a druid. He says, like,
It just
he
doesn't
doesn't know
explode.
what's happening either.
Like, when she comes out of this memory, how does she not explode on him?
Three sisters with stories to tell. Books in our hands, we know them well. Flipping pages where dreams dwell. Chapter one, here you go. Turn the light, let the words flow. Laughs and love in every show. Books meet hearts, we grow.
Well, welcome back, hopefully, and especially back to book number 2.
The Robin on the Oak Throne
Thank you.
of the Oak and Holly cycle. Yeah, Ashley?
And
I'm proud of both of you.
we are honestly jumping right back in as if this was just part 2 of the same book. We really don't miss a beat. And hopefully you read the first book. If you didn't read the first book, go read the first book.
Yeah, you
Like,
don't belong here. Sorry.
Yeah, this is not for you. So, with that, we'll jump in as scheduled. We'll give you a rapid recap. We still are working on that jingle of the first book, and then we'll start right where we left off.
Yeah, it is a very short, just what happened at the very end there.
Perfect.
For the rapid recap, Lorcan has the sword, so the 4 magical object. Lorcan ended up with a sword, Chris ended up with the spear. Graves has nothing, but he did end the book with a lead on where the cauldron is. And with Kier's having her trust completely shattered by Graves because he knew what she was and kept things from her about herself.
Which I still don't agree with. Keep going.
Well, she said peace to him. And she's like, bye, bitch. Went to Dublin to go discover answers about her past by herself with her friend Jen, Prophet Jen. That's where we left off.
And Ethan has switched sides to the evil side.
Yes.
Ethan.
Ethan has
Ethan?
stayed behind.
Yeah, Ethan decided he wants to be a druid. No loyalty at all. Why stay with the people who, like, they literally just kidnap and threaten your life?
Yeah.
Such an idiot.
And not for the first time.
He's a boy.
No, I have a feeling that's going to come back.
For
be
real.
a negative.
They're probably
Yeah.
behind him getting wish powdered too.
Probably.
Who else
Yeah.
knew that they were there?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's
Well,
one of
that
the things
has
that
to
she
be
never really answered.
Amani. I feel like that one does have to be Amani, right?
Yeah, but Imani, like, with how she feels about Graves, maybe she's tied to Lorcan. You know,
That is a possibility.
when you hate
Seems
the
like
same
everybody
people.
knows everybody.
That's true.
Lorcan and Lorcan's Graves is piling up the enemies, so like some shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what he has, right? Enemies, not friends.
Right. And the ones he says are acquaintances, he's like, let's make you an enemy today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't
I'm
not
still
support that.
missing.
Oh.
I'm still missing like this part of his character.
Yeah.
Like we're really not seeing that. So
I feel like we start to see a little bit more in the beginning of this next book with how he brings Kier's to people he is familiar with and has a history with.
mhm.
And then kind of just,
yeah, but it's almost like he's pissing one person off every 100 years. Like,
oh, well, he's moving along now, though.
Yeah.
no, but you
He's
know what I
burning
mean? It's
all
like
the bridges.
it's
Yeah.
all his apprentices.
Yeah.
Maybe 100 years is a stretch, but it does seem to be very just like those people. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out, obviously.
Let's jump into it then.
All right, chapter 1. Okay, so like I said, we pick up exactly where we left off. We're in obviously Kirsten's perspective. She's immediately on a hunt. I don't know, what would we call her? Thief.
She's on a job.
Jobs. Okay. So she's on a job, her personal job. She's not going to be paid. But she is at the Palace of Versailles to steal the bracelet from the Queen of the Nymphs. So already sounds pretty intense. She's already gotten herself into something new. So she's obviously in Paris. So not Dublin, but we'll get there. So as we're entering the story, it's pretty much her MO. So she is figuring out how she's going to get into this party, how she's going to get out of this party. She decides,
Invited.
yes, she's definitely not invited. She, finds this group of girls. She spills some champagne on them, swipes the invitation, and she's on her merry way.
She gets yelled at in French quite a few times in this first
Yes.
chapter.
Yes,
So
which
she-
they don't give us the French words to Google, but we just assume that
It's yelling. She's being
Yeah.
grossed out, probably.
exactly. She makes note that there's many different monsters out. That the other countries didn't have the same issues that they had in New York, where they all kind of live somewhat amicably. So she's, listing off all the different species that are interacting with one another. She mentions, internally how she misses New York. We know from the first book as well that she loves New York. That's her home. She has a very special attachment to it. And, she intends to go back. So she mentioned she misses it. She misses her friends and her family, but she is not ready to deal with the reunion of Graves.
Yeah, he's the problem.
So then we're back into real time. She's scoping out the queen's bedroom. There are obviously 2 guards outside there. She uses her slow-mo skills to get past them, get into the neighboring door. And then she gets inside that room and sets a tripwire ward, essentially. So she will be notified if anybody enters, which good on her for learning that little trick.
Good thinking, girl.
I'm sure that is very handy. She goes out to the balcony, jumps over the balcony to the queen's balcony so she can get into the room that way. She then is kind of talking to us about, like, now she's Fae, this is new to her. She's experiencing the powers, their super strength, speed, jumps, all the typical Faeland things, because she would typically be afraid of heights, etc. But she's like, okay, yeah, I got this. So she gets into the queen's chamber. She does rip her dress. She's like thinking in her mind, she's like, yeah, I would have loved to wear actual combat gear, but obviously can't show up to a party.
This is not an ideal outfit for stealing something.
Right. So she finds the safe pretty quickly that she's looking for and rummage through it. She does mention there's like a language in the wording that she has always felt familiar with, although she cannot like transcribe it. So I'm just pinpointing that as like a potential Fae thing, like a lost language or something that she knows at some level of her subconscious.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's in there. She is not finding what she's looking for, which is the bracelet, and she decides it's got to be somewhere else. There's got to be another vault somewhere, but it's definitely not in that room. So she goes back the way she came. She's banged up. She had cut her hand on the way back. She's got a ripped skirt. She comes out of the room and she immediately runs into this like vampire guard who could smell the blood. So it's no secret that she is there.
Hello. You smell delicious.
Yeah. She mentions at this time that she still has not acquired all of her wisp powers. And I was listening to this at 2.5 speed so I could get through quickly. So I did not write all of them down, but I did write she's still missing intuition and persuasion. And there were a couple other ones there.
Pixie lights, portaling. Okay. Portaling, I feel like would be pretty important. Is that what what's this Kingston does, or is that like what his is called? Portaling. Yeah. I mean, how convenient.
So she's like contemplating, is it more time or is it likely that she just does not have these powers, which is what she feels it is. So as the card is coming up to her, she does what she does best and adapts to the situation and puts on a whole show that she is lost and in desperate need for help. And on her way, somehow she's cut herself.
It's actually kind of funny. Like, I got turned around and then I fell and cut myself.
Yeah.
They really sold it there.
Mm-hmm. So he pretty much grabs her by the arm and starts taking her down the hallway. And who intercepts? Of course, it is our man Graves. And love that it was chapter 1 where he came back, because I definitely thought it was going to be at least half the book before we heard
How
from
long do we
him.
have to linger without his banter?
Yeah.
You really thought it was gonna be half a book?
Yeah.
I just thought she would punish him for a while, but I guess it has
Definitely
been
thought
months.
maybe, like, by
She's
the
been
5th
punishing him
chapter.
for months.
That man is
Yeah, I mean, I
needy.
guess it is a smaller book, so I forget about that, but definitely wasn't expecting his return in chapter 1. I'm very pleased about it.
And what did he say, Hannah?
And he says, "Unhand my wife."
Fuck.
Way to come in with a bang.
Yeah.
So that was chapter 1.
Yeah, nothing really to add.
Okay.
He's the
Then,
most beautiful nightmare Kyrsa's ever seen.
yeah. Oh yeah, she's immediately, obviously, back in her
Swooning a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I did highlight in here too that she references King Louis the whatever, which we know to be like he died the day that.
No, this is a different King
different
Louis.
one. I think
That was
she
the 8th.
references King
This is
Louis
the
the 14th.
Okay.
That's a King Louis's hand.
Yeah, I think Louis the 7th was the one.
Was it at the 8th?
No, because that's the one you would expect it to be, but it wasn't.
I remember third 3 being 3 eyes.
Stand by.
Anywho, I didn't clarify that she's there to steal for a coin to enter the goblin marketplace. So that's why she's here, because she wants to get into the market. And
Henry the 7th. Sorry.
Sorry, you were right.
So that's why she's stealing the bracelet, to take it in exchange for this entrance coin to the market. So chapter 2, Pierce opens like, did he just say wife? What the heck? She, like we were already talking, is immediately affected by his presence. The guard is saying he has to take her for trespassing, and of course, Graves threatens him with his demeanor and choice of words. All the while he's kind of teasing Pierce, like, "Did you miss me?" Blah blah. She does mention how, in the first book, when she was first able to scent him, she said he smelled like his library, but now she can tell it's a very distinct Graves scent and is separate from that. So her skills, whether that's in general or around him specifically, are getting better.
Yeah. They're like canoodling too right now. He's like up in her neck. She's like, "Oh my god, I don't want to like this. I'm mad at you." Stop.
So he's able to basically shoo off the guard and pushes her into this like coat closet, janitor closet room, and so they can talk. And she's like, "What are you doing here?" They're having a banter. He calls her Miss McKenna. And we know that's obviously a jab, because he's never called her that. He's always called her Ren or
Miss McKenna me.
any other things. Yeah. So he taunts her, obviously knowing that would get something out of her. Just, rehashing that she cannot trust him after everything that happened. Again, we're fighting this internal battle that she, he broke her trust, but she's obsessed with him, but won't admit it. But her body will, essentially, is what we're at in the story. Kears is just saying how, she didn't need him. He's, of course, like, "Well, yeah, it didn't seem that way." And they're
They
bantering
kind of were
about
caught
that.
there.
Yeah. Exactly. We learn in this moment that it has been 5 months since she's left, and she is like, likely he has been keeping tabs on me, of course, especially just showing up here today, because they have not been in contact or communication. And so he questions back like he does. what she's there to steal and if she's already stolen it. She ends up telling him, she wants to steal the bracelet, and he laughs and he says, I don't think that even you could succeed because she's wearing it tonight.
Something of note here is that um, with her power, she has figured out how to glamour herself. And
Yeah.
it seems like it's like a comfort level that she wants to look human. She just like
Mm-hmm.
identifies as a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine like seeing yourself all these years and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's not my reflection.
Yeah.
Are you still considered part alien if you are from this world? Or like one of your parents is clearly an alien?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I like to consider them aliens. They're fae.
They're aliens.
Aliens.
So chapter 3, we're just talking how Kierce is just like, he thinks this is a problem, but this is actually even better.
Perfect.
We heard that she is the oldest living dryad, which we haven't really talked in depth about them yet.
Well, so she's queen of the nymphs. She's not a nymph, or is it dryad a kind of nymph?
I was also confused and assumed we would get more detail at some point.
Ashley, you're supposed to know these things, madam.
Well, I will say the first part of the book was a little slow for me. So actually I had to read it in 2 parts and it did not spark my rabbit hole fancy.
Okay, we'll have to look it up.
So yeah, she's one of the oldest living dryads. Don't know how that connects to the nymphs. And they don't capitalize dryad, so I was curious about that too. But anyways, and she's obviously heavily guarded. She's, hosting this
It is a
party.
nymph.
Everybody is there for her.
It's a tree
They're
nymph.
one in the same.
A tree nymph.
A tree nymph or spirit in Greek
Ah.
mythology.
That makes sense why she compares her skin to tree.
Oh, hold on. Definition is derived from the Greek word dries, in parentheses, oak. Dryads are spirits of nature, often portrayed as beautiful, shy women living in forests.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we know.
So,
Thank you.
We know.
and tied to Lorcan over Graves.
Mhm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Interesting. That'll be fun to learn about. So she is mentioning that she's running out of time. She needs to seal this now. Dave's trying to convince her that this is reckless, and she's just laughing it off like she does, and how no jail can hold her. She can get out of any jail because of her trainings. Graves is being very flirty with her. Offers to help her at no price, which she's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But she's doing it for the thrill, of course. And she needs the help because he obviously has some history here. They go off and start dancing for the views of their ploy to get this bracelet. And, same old same. Her body is betraying her. She's getting lost in her thoughts. He obviously knows what he's doing, and once that's over, he takes her
Dancing, right? Did you say that they were dancing? Or that
Yeah.
they were just like,
I feel like it's closer to a waltz than a shimmy.
Yeah, me too. But I was just gonna let it
out
go.
there.
So yeah, Graves takes her and introduces her to Abby or Evelyn as his wife again. And she's like, okay, this is
We're
getting
doing this again.
interesting. Yeah. Both of the ladies are shocked by this acclamation. Of course, we know any female would be shocked knowing Graves is married based on his history. Kierce is kind of just joking like she does, like, oh, I'm the prize. And they're talking about the ring. She mentioned she doesn't have a ring, and she's like, yeah, he just hasn't found the right one yet. And he's like, playing into it, but also a little bit serious. That's what I'm
Wow.
gathering.
I feel like he secretly wed them or something. He did some
Yeah.
kind of joining
Yeah.
ceremony.
Honestly, I'm like, what is happening?
You never know with Graves.
Yeah. He's seen the future, maybe. So she's using this whole conversation as a distraction to swipe the bracelet, which she obviously does. And they immediately walk straight out of there. And, as soon as she asks kind of about, an exit plan. They hear the guards start running after them, so they start running.
But when they're walking out, she's like, "Where are the exits? How do you know where they are? Oh, you were here when it was built, weren't you?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Old man."
Let's see if I highlighted anything.
Although that sparks something up too.
Oh, he tells her that she is priceless. Just really laying it on thick.
He is laying it on thick.
Yeah.
Agree. Kier's saw that bracelet from across the room. Like, bing.
Chapter 4?
Mhm.
Am I going too fast? Or
No, you're good. I feel like we have to. We have a lot of chapters to cover.
yeah. Okay. Graves leads her to this troll gate. Trolls are guarding pretty much everything in this city.
Yeah.
And you gotta pay a fine to get through.
You remember, they're not very smart.
Yeah. So Graves gives them this piece of paper, troll pass, essentially, which the troll refuses and pushes him.
Expired.
Yeah. And the guards are gaining on them. So Kier's, acts on intuition, I guess. And she runs up the back of the troll, grabs this flag flying, and strangles the troll. While Graves is literally just sitting there watching her. She's like, "Oh yeah, I could have had some help." And he's like, "Oh, I thought you were good. You didn't need any help." So,
He
anyways,
wasn't wrong. She did need his help.
yeah. They obviously get through the gate at that point, take off to get in Graves's car.
George, good old George, always where he
George.
needs to be.
Exactly.
George, the jungle.
He explains to her how he can hide the car from being found. Essentially, they're able to do this to any inanimate object that would prevent people from being able to search for it, obviously with their magic. So that was cool. She tells him to drop her at her hotel. He
What?
obviously...
What?
I could see you singing it in your head, were you?
No, stop. No. I was thinking about how Kier talks about his long fingers again.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I know.
In case you weren't here last time, which you shouldn't be here if you weren't here last time. Girl is obsessed with this man's hands.
he has the hands of a pianist. She's not wrong.
Well,
They
and
reach out for
with the
links.
gloves, they're just mysterious, so they become an item of attraction.
Deglove your hands, sir. I'm ready.
Ew.
Sorry. Go on.
So, anyways, she's telling him, "Take me to my hotel." He's like, "Yeah, no, you're in a lot of heat right now. We'll go to where
Yeah,
I'm
she is.
staying with a friend." And, they banter. He doesn't want to give up information. Finally, he does. He is staying with who they call the game master of Paris, Estelle.
Estelle.
He finally reveals that he wants her.
Your
Don't mind
headphone.
me. My headphone fell out of my ear. Go
Ah,
on.
It looked like a random piece of paper just fell out.
So he wants to. No, he finally admits that he wants her to steal something for him. And she's like, "Oh, okay, so this is the price of the bracelet." And he's like,
Okay.
"No, there's no price between us. This is a job. This is basically what he's here for." He tells her it's for the cauldron. So he's already being more upfront with her than he has been in the past. Not that she's recognizing this. She's like, "You could have just called." And he's like, "Yeah, I know you weren't going to answer." So here I am. And she, like we know, is just here for the thrill of it. So she signs up.
And Estelle is the warlock of Paris. So they only have one major warlock in each city, and she's the one. Illusions, and he says the Avalon, or however you say the queen's name, will not cross her, which we don't know now, but we'll find out why.
So they get to her house and enter. She goes through this magnificent home like they all have. She had basically bought the entire block out just like Graves. And he's like, "Yeah, who do you think she learned it from?" So obviously they're very old friends. Pierce learns in this moment that she is also friends with the queen that she just stole from. He is like, "Yep." And the game starts when we enter.
She notices the wards with the same fleur-de-lis symbol in the that were at the
The
palace.
old magic that was warding the safe.
So Estelle comes down in all her glory and wonders about their attire. They clearly look disheveled. So Graves just alludes to the fact that they got
He's like-
busy in the limo.
Because I didn't even notice when I was first reading through it, but he was like taking his clothes off, his jacket and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it was for a reason to make it
For the
look like.
ruse.
Yeah.
There's always a reason.
He calls her his wife again. And he says, I'm sure you have already heard, which just confirms the closeness of the queen and her, because that's the only other person that would have told her. So they're all having a little chat about their relationship, essentially. You know, Kier's has brought him back from the dead, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, the same story we get every time we meet a new female. Oh, you're the one that has changed him. Oh, you're the one that has locked this man down. So Graves basically cuts right to the chase, and he's like, you know why I'm here? I'm here to play a game for the cauldron. She explains, it's not about winning or losing, but what you are willing to pay or lose in the process. And Estelle essentially wants him to give up Kier's for this.
And she assumes he will.
New game. Yes, she is very confident that he's going to. But they both refuses. Kier's does not want to be involved, and Grace is very much like, she's off limits. Don't fucking touch her. And he's like, if this is your price, then we will be leaving. We have nothing to do here. And she insists that they still stay. And Estelle leaves them, saying that they will change their mind and want to play the game.
Here's what the lady wants with Kier's. Maybe she just thinks she's cute. Because that's what, like, she wants to keep her. Not just like him give her up, but like she's mine now.
Yeah, but she's also probably like a bargaining chip. Like it's clear she has some kind of
We
influence
talked
over
about their
Graves.
games before.
Yeah.
They talked about that a few times.
Yeah, and they talk about it a bit more in one of my later chapters, I think. Or maybe actually, Chris,
you only have 2 more.
Yeah, maybe it's actually your chapters. No, it is my chapters, I remember. Okay. Anything to add to chapter 5?
Nope.
All right, so they get ushered to his usual room in the house. And as soon as she enters this room, she finally takes a breath and realizes how much power that Estelle has been using, and it's just been weighing on her, and she had no observation of it. She mentions how she must be powerful, and Grace's response is she wants you to think that, which I found to be curious. He confirms that everything that just happened went to plan, so clearly, he thought this whole thing was going to go this way. Who knows? But Kier's is convincing herself that she wants to get the cauldron for the thrill. And again, just this internal monologue that she is having, that she is able to withstand her desire for Graves, which just
but she cannot turn down thievery.
No.
She's hardwired for that.
No. Graves asks about how Estelle presented herself to him. I don't think I mentioned that Estelle's powers are illusion.
We briefly touched it.
So he asked, how he presented himself. We learned that she presented herself differently to both of them, which I found pretty interesting. And we talk about Kier's, how she can feel her magic, but she still sees the illusion, which he finds interesting. So I'm sure we'll dig into that at some point. But yeah, she uses illusion for trickery to play with people, essentially, to get whatever she's needing out of them. As we know, she is the game master, so clearly she likes to see people frantic. Graves is kind of, taking Kirsten, gazing at her, and he's saying, this heart beats for me. And I'm just going to find it in the book because that's all I took for that little part there.
Yeah, it comes off of them talking about what's her face's the lady's magic. Also, her secondary is reading emotions between people. So they're talking about, well, she should have been able to sense that we're not married. It's like, are we not entangled?
Mm-hmm.
I have a word for it. It's 33.
Yeah, no, I'm reading it too. So yeah, basically what you just said. And so he's just reiterating to her that she can't fake it, that her heart is what she's reading and the heart beats for him. Then he tries to apply going to bed together. Like immediately after, which I thought was funny. So they start going through the plan on how they're going to get to the cauldron to steal it. Uh, it's very brief, and all of a sudden, he's like, "Yeah, and we got to take security down, and I'm already working on that." A couple seconds go by, and he's like, "Okay, you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go." And she's like, "Okay, how long do I have?" And he's like, an hour, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 15. She's like, oh shit. So she takes off.
Also, George, who is always in the right place at the right time, is also a hacker and is the one who takes down the security system. What a good guy to have around.
I know. But she's like, yeah, of course, I would only keep the Swiss knives in my employ. So she takes off. She is basically using her magic to figure out which door is warded the most, has the most magic coming from it, and that's obviously going to be the room that the cauldron is in. She finds a door, she enters, and she sees Graves dead on the floor and all crumpled. And
God, I was listening at this part, and I think I zoned out for a second, and I came back, and I was like, "Oh, wait, what just happened?" I think I had to rewind it 3 times.
I also did have to restart this. I was like, what?
Wait, what? That was
Suckers.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You got me.
So she immediately starts crying, and she's like, you promised. And she's like, no, he didn't. What did he promise? And she's like having all this internal battle. And then she actually starts thinking, she's like, wait, how did this happen so fast? I was just with him. And then she starts to piece together, oh, okay, obviously this is an illusion. This is her powers. She also starts to feel her own magic drain at that point, where she's just absorbed too much magic. But she powers through, gets up, and starts to walk out. And she hears Estelle in the background clapping. And her parting words were, not bad at all, not bad.
So I'm trying to understand this more. Her absorbing the illusion so she could see that Grace was not actually there, that filled up her absorption powers, right?
No,
I
didn't read it that way. Her warding, because she's using so much magic in the house.
Okay, so it's the warding. It's not the she's absorbing
through the door.
Estelle's powers.
Yeah. She had to absorb enough of the warding on that door to push through the threshold.
It's so confusing because when she absorbs too much power, she's considered empty, right? That's it's a little tricksy. Yeah. Fancy beans.
I feel like there's not a better word for it.
I got tripped up there, and her glamour's gone now, so she's obviously got the pointy ears.
So let's see. Estelle is talking, and she's just, this is way further than I thought you'd get. So congrats to that. Kierce is in her head. She's reminding herself of all of these things that she has survived, and trying to get the courage to get up because she again is drained. And then she sees that she's actually in a room full of treasures with paintings and jewels, all of the things. Estelle mentions how Graves has always had the most interesting people at his side, so she's laying it on pretty thick.
She specifically says collects.
Yes.
Which I feel like is a jab.
I agree. We can tell she is very interested in Kierce immediately as we're reading this. She asked her why she stole the bracelet. Um, Here's, obviously is nonchalant about it, just that, it's who she is, pretty much. Estelle explains that she, of course, has heard of her before, and basically this was all a setup. And the point was to test Kierce. It had nothing to do with Graves.
Real quick, the bracelet she showed her, it wasn't the goblin bracelet. It was a bracelet she had already stolen from Estelle. Like, that's the bracelet she put on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Estelle's like,
Yeah.
she doesn't say anything.
Misaligned that.
Yeah, that's when she said, why did you steal it?
Yeah, so she's realizing that this was always a test for her, not Graves, and that must mean that the cauldron is not, in fact, here. She, at this point, does imply that she wants to collect her, that, she doesn't need to be with Graves. She could come be here with her. Then she essentially is like, okay, we can play one more game if you don't want to leave empty-handed, because clearly she's not getting the cauldron, which intrigues Kierce. So she learns pretty quickly.
Yeah.
This girl has no, I don't even know the word for it, but she is here for the game.
Yeah, she wants to play.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be left bored.
So she tells her that she's going to answer a riddle. If she gets it right, she would get a truth. And she's going to have 5 minutes to complete this. I'm not going to read the riddle. I guess, no. I'm not going to read the riddle.
I feel like you probably should.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it was a pretty obvious riddle.
Oh, did you guys both get it before?
No, I was just still listening, so I was like, I don't know what's happening. This riddle.
So the riddle is, I am not given and taken away, a choice that leaves a debt to pay. For love or honor or for a cause, I'm offered willingly despite the loss. In games of strategy, I'm a mere pawn. Moves planned out, a piece withdrawn. What am I?
And Kira seems like she's like,
So Kira's
brilliant mind, like
struggles
it's all up on the wall. She's like, I don't know.
a bit to even just remember the whole riddle. So she's kind of asking, can you, give them to me in each stanza or whatever we call the little sections there.
I think it is a stanza.
Sounded right to me, girl. Look at you and your poetry.
That really just came to me as I was saying it. So sometimes my brain chooses to work. So she's struggling to remember, and then she does at the last second get it, and the answer is sacrifice. And she's like, okay, you little witch, I see what you did there. She's like, yeah, the sacrificial lamb. And she's immediately planting the seeds. Like, you think Graves didn't know this? You really think he thought the cauldron was here? And
playing games.
Kierce is so broken, she easily believes her. And she is given an envelope for winning the riddle. And then she asks her to leave all the toys she stole. And she does. And then she's like, and she's like, well, you said jewelry. But she had also taken like a pen or something.
A coin.
A coin. She still has the pin in her hair.
Yes. So she gives her back what she thinks is all of her stuff. And then as she is leaving, she asks if she is actually married. And she said, well, that would ruin the game. And just leaves her with that.
Yeah. If you're going to play the game, I'm going to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lose.
So she is escaping. She's on the roof.
So this is my chapter, I think. I think it can be done now.
Yeah, you just ended your chapter.
Oh, I thought I had chapter 8.
I mean, if you'd like, you can go ahead.
No.
You'll have input. Okay, you don't want to. You're done.
No, okay. I'm done. I just would have been here on time.
Can I make a cup of tea? Like, I'm just really sleepy.
Pausing the...
Yeah, I've got a water kettle, so it won't take very long. But, like, I'm really tired.
It's just gonna... Right, chapter 8. So, Kierce met up with Graves after her interaction with Estelle in the game. He was on the way to the room because she missed their rendezvous. And she's immediately pissed, like, you set me up for that. I mean, the hands in this envelope that she was given. he is like, I sent you for the cauldron. He's not giving into this that Zell tried to make her think that he set her up. And he's opening up the envelope in his flat, which actually is under renovation. I don't know if we mentioned that. They were going to stay somewhere else because his flat was under renovation. He just kind of thought it was bullshit, but it wasn't. And the letter is an invitation for an auction for the cauldron in New York at a Midsummer Night's Dream themed party. So eventually they're going to be going to this themed party to try to get the cauldron. And now
we don't do enough theme parties anymore. That used to be a thing. House parties and themed parties. Like, what is this world coming to?
Those like dress as your spouse parties and what are some of the other ones? Come dress as your favorite like book boyfriend or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also to say, could you imagine if you guys had to be dressed as your spouse?
I would just look like a bum.
Drab AF.
No, Chase looks like put together. So she would at least have like a
date
nice
night.
matching sweat set on.
That's
Hannah
my
dresses
compliment.
him.
Yeah, I know. So she dresses him. She would be fine dressing herself in his clothes.
I
But
will
anyways,
say
no, go
I
ahead.
don't dress him, but I do suggest purchases.
To help him choose things.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
they
Tomato,
all
She's trying to
potato.
make sure the people of the world don't think she has to get her husband dressed every day.
Yeah, exactly. Because I do not. It is very rare, and I'm angry if he asks me to.
I helped you buy them. Just pick them out yourself. Match me though. Don't mess it up.
Exactly. It's not that hard.
But yeah, so they're in his flat. For some reason, there's only one bed in here, which is convenient for Graves, but seems unrealistic. So,
I don't feel like that's
yeah.
unrealistic. The whole house is under renovation. That's the only room that's technically done. What would you do? Would you have your beds just chilling everywhere while they're doing
Well, no,
construction?
I think it's actually a small flat because he makes
it's an
mention
apartment.
of that. Yeah.
Come on, Christy.
He wanted that situation. Anyways, so they're both going to sleep in the same bed. And he reveals that he's been like thinking a lot, reflecting on things he's done in his life since she left him, and is seeing more of his fault in things. So, like for example, he was talking about Montreal and the part he played in that, which is very big boy of him. She's a little
Mhm.
surprised.
It took him 500 plus years.
Yeah, and then they're in this bed together, and he's just like relentless that he's gonna, she wants him still.
Mm-hmm.
And so he takes care of her. Doesn't take very long. He's like, he slapped her. Give her a little pat. What did he say? I didn't write down what he said, but he's like, that's
At
still
least
mine.
that is
At
still
least that's still
mine.
mine.
Yeah. But it was kind of comedic relief.
Yes, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this really just digs into his side of things. Like, from my perspective, you can tell, like, he is obviously head over heels for her and trying to get her to see that. He's, trying to reiterate she is not the sacrificial lamb. But in his own way, he's not trying that hard, but he's just like, that's not what's happening.
I can't figure out with him if he lets her be in that position because she's strong enough to handle it, or if there's something deceptive going on. You know what I mean?
feel like it's not deception, but he also knows not to push her.
Yeah.
Like, she has every right to feel the way she's feeling, is my thought. So what else did I add? Oh yeah, he said, I wish I could rewrite my life with you in it.
I forgot to write that down. It was very
Yeah.
sweet. I wish I could rewrite my life with you in it.
That's really all I had to add. Despite her anger, she still wanted him with a fiery, obsessive desire.
She did say that he would ruin her for all sex ever.
That is true.
She's holding to it.
And he reiterated that to her tonight.
I also think he's probably ruined too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he say? Have you not missed me?
Oh yeah, I didn't remember if it was right here, but she taunts him about like, I could have had a leper.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, sure.
He's like, tell me what I can do to correct your estimation of me. And she's like, soft line. He's like, okay, there would be no more lies between us.
He said, all those long months with just your hand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the best part, he says, let the monster off the leash, which is what she told him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The first time.
Yes, she did. She was like immediate, like,
She's like, okay, you're already there.
my Ren, my little thief, who else could satisfy you?
Yeah.
There were
There
quite
you
a few
go.
little quotes there that I missed out.
Yeah. That was the one I was looking
And he
for.
said, after he said, at least that's still mine, he said, bon nuit, which I
Yeah.
guess is good night in French.
And
Bon nuit.
turned over and went to bed.
Slept like a baby.
He'd proven the point.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I
Okay.
got.
All right. Chapter 9 is kind of a shift because Kier's is in this nightmare and she doesn't know what's going on. She is yelling at Daddy. Somebody found them and is taking down some wording, and she has to hide. And she wakes because gets pulled from this because Grace is shaking her because she's screaming. Um, and they come to the realization that it's not a dream, but it's a memory. It's coming back to her because the spell that she had just was glamoring her is wearing off. So apparently this is something that happens when a spell like that wears off. Things start to come back to you.
Yeah, and she's been
problem-
having like this same exact reoccurring dream nightmare for months.
Yeah, it's like every night to where she's having it. That's one of the reasons she wants to go into the goblin market is so that she can get some damn sleep. But when she wakes up from these, she can't remember the details of them, which is the problem. But apparently Graves read her, which is she's not super happy about. Her power was so diminished so that he was able to, he says he didn't mean to, but he kind of recanted what happened to her. And she's really like, why would somebody take my memories and how do I get them back? So that's why she was going to Nine Market. He's really pushing her to look at other ways to retrieve them because he does not want her to go to Nine Market. And doesn't sound like anybody tells anybody to go to Nine Market ever. She's still like not trusting him in her mind though. Because of everything he had from her. He insists that if she's going to Nine Market, he is going with her. If she's at risk, he is at her back always.
And he does call her out. He's like, "You're being obstinate," and she said, "And you made me that way." So she's not holding back either.
Hell has no fury like a woman scorned.
So you don't get to choose the terms or when to mend it.
She's strong, except for when his fingers come out.
Yeah. Another thing I highlighted is he's kind of explaining the spell that glamored her and locked away these memories, that it was really powerful. And she's like, beyond you. And he's like, yeah, it's not my kind of magic. So there's another magic play here that we haven't learned about yet. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun.
Because I tried to do a really good job of just catching the main things that happen.
Yeah. Jen has been helping her. We know her to be into the tincture healer world. So she's been making her sleep concoctions, but it's just making her like go through the dream in a drugged state. So
it's not helping at all. How did she tell Jen that? Because Jen's like just genuinely loves her and is trying to help her.
That's all I got.
What is a tincture?
Like a little, like a potion.
Like natural oils.
It's a thing that's mixed together.
Yeah, but in an oil format with a dropper.
I didn't know if oils needed to be required, but
yeah, I guess that's true. Oil is just normally the carrier for whatever you're producing.
Oh, I wasn't saying you're wrong. I was just saying I didn't know that, but I know it's
no, I don't know that I
some
am.
mixing
That's
involved.
just I do know, like with essential oils and things, you want to put them inside of an oil so that they are carried throughout. That way, they don't stain your stuff.
They're not as potent.
Yeah.
Oil mixes with oil.
Does it?
Yes. Anywho.
All right. Interlude. Our first
Yes.
interlude of the book. It's Estelle. Who else but Estelle? She was quite surprised that Kier's won the game, and the fact that she got away with her pin in there was just like, she shares a little bit of her backstory with Graves, that she met him a long, long time ago, and he wanted to train her, but she was using her illusion powers kind of like raise herself up in the socials ladder. She did not belong really. And she took part in him having and losing Montreal. So these games they play back and forth, they got really like high stakes. She was an introduction to Montreal, and she was part of him falling in love with Amati and leaving them. leaving Graves, and Graves in return knew that she had feelings with for Aveline. And so he arranged a betrothal for her and took her off the market, therefore ending their love affair, which is kind of really sad. But this is why I was hinting at her love of the pretty ladies, why she was interested in Kier's.
I definitely took it as a power thing, but
Like it could have gone both ways. She was like, I'm interested in you, but also I'm interested in you. One time. But yeah, it kind of comes down to Aveline shows up and they're talking about what went down, that she didn't get the bracelet back. And then they're obviously in on the situation with the invitation and this auction because that was one of the first things Aveline or whatever says to her is like, did you give him the invitation? And she just said, the curator will take it from here. Let the games begin. Who's the curator? Do we know the curator and I missed something?
I think she's talking about herself.
No.
Like she's telling Abby.
I think the curator is the one that's pulling all of the items for auction at this event. Like we don't know who the curator is.
Oh, so it's not like the curator.
No.
It's like that's their position in an auction.
Literally just a curator of this event.
Sounded so much more elusive than that.
But I have a theory.
Okay. Are you showing it now or is it too much?
Right. I think the curator is going to take Kier's as an item for sale.
And
That's a good thought.
She is curatable.
She is a one of a kind.
Interesting.
Anything else there?
No, I don't believe so.
Man, I think
she does question his like wife thing. She thinks it was a falsehood, but she is really frustrated at how much he feels this. She feels the sincerity of his feelings towards Kier's, and that he wouldn't risk her in the games. But then she was like, "But he sent her as a sacrificial lamb anyway." That's what I was trying to ask. Like, do we think he just thinks she can handle it, and he's not really sending her as a sacrificial lamb, but that she enjoys it?
I just feel like he would not do that right after.
Yeah, I'm also not convinced that he knew the cauldron wasn't there.
I don't think he did, which is a big point because Estelle proof in this interlude thinks he did. So he's either losing his touch or
that was the intel he got. Like, remember he got intel from somebody.
Laz.
Probably Lazarus risen from the dead. All right.
Yeah, interesting where this will go.
I have very little in chapter 10. They took Graves's private jet to Dublin. Graves is slightly pissed that she flew like
coach
commercial airline and not even first class. She's trying to save her $10 million. He also mentions that he's not entirely welcome in Ireland. She's like, all of Ireland. She came in from all of Ireland. Doesn't go into a lot, but he just said that the problems with his mother's people originated there. So obviously lots of bad history.
And that's where the Druids are from.
Yes,
which is obviously his arch nemesis.
Yeah, they're not friends. They used to be friends, but they're not friends anymore. But anyways, they land. They're making their way to Kier's apartment that she shares with Jen. I don't remember if she said this out loud, but she's thinking to herself, "This is where we find out that Ethan, not only did he stay behind and abandoned his friends to go with the Druids and train, he's now went underground with the Druids, is essentially missing, and he broke up with Corey." How rude.
I know, I was like, Chrissy thought that was part of the reason why he stayed.
Yeah, I did. I was wrong. Maybe he's like enthralled or something. Anyways, they get to the apartment. It's got a bright yellow door, by the way, and walk in. Jen's there, and she's like, "Oh, Graves is here. Is that supposed to be a thing?" Yeah. Surprised that they're together. She was not expecting it. And I don't remember if it was in that chapter, but they both talk about how they really thought he was trailing the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's not so much of a surprise.
I was going to add, we do learn that Druids were scholars and priests who ruled and educated the masses. They were the forever good guys. So we didn't really get that in the last book, that the history books.
No.
We
got it from Lorcan, though. Lorcan was
guys.
trying to believe that he's the good guy, and he put on such an act until he wasn't
Mhm.
getting what he wanted. And then he turned into a complete jackass.
The
And
druids are
then as
assholes.
soon as the wisp came out, he was like a sweet little puppy again.
Mm-hmm.
He
But
is not trustworthy.
it reminded me how in the beginning with Coraline, the girl
She's
that
a vampire.
started the
Mhm.
war, Graves had made a comment, the books, tell the good story or whatever, but the ones writing it are the ones that
'Tis the victor
what
who
is I don't
writes
know how to
history.
there you go.
Yeah, it's about when like he said he had seen her speak once.
Yeah, but the point just being like the good guys are the ones writing about
Yeah.
the good guys.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
because we're
That is a
still
large
trying to
lesson to learn in the
decipher
world.
like
Like
who's the good guy here, Oak
and
or Holly.
history is written by the victors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like I see the druids as like the worst kind of evil, the kinds that have the nonchalant, like the charismatic face, but under it, it's all rotten, and you
I
don't
feel
know it
like
until you're
you
too far
liked
in.
them last book. Why do I feel like you liked them, or did you just know more about them?
I don't think I liked them.
Okay.
I've never liked druids.
Okay. Anything else from chapter
Weird.
10?
No.
Okay. So chapter 11, Pierce is kind of giving Jen the lowdown. She's like, Graves is in our flat. How they ran into each other, that she was at the job trying to get the bracelet, and he showed up. And now, they're having that conversation that he's probably been watching them this whole time. And Jen picks up on Kierce's feelings for Graves and asks if they'd slept together. And she's like, no, not exactly.
She
But
did say not yet.
she did say not yet, right? She knows
Mhm.
what's going to happen. But she's not unsupportive of it, right? She kind of
Yeah.
knows, like, she can't say
She's like,
anything to get her to
knows.
change her mind. Kirsten goes and explains how well she has the spear hidden, that it's there in the flat, which I feel like her going through it and being so detailed on how safe it is
Mm-hmm.
gonna bite her in the ass.
Yeah.
After she goes through that, she talks about taking it, and Jen's like, "That's a really stupid idea. You shouldn't take it to the market with you." So changes her mind, and then gives her the whole story about the getting the bracelet. And when they're back talking about the market, she will not let Jen go with her to the market. She's like, "There's no way I would risk you in that." So Jen's gonna just chill. Wait, that's not all of it.
No.
I was
But
like, wait
wait,
a second.
there's more.
But then they hear somebody at the door, and they realize it's Neve. So Neve showed up, and when she opened the door, Graves is there, and he's like, "This bitch, what are you doing here?" And they're like, why do you know her? She's the Robin." When I read this, I was like, "What? Wait, what?" I knew we were gonna find the Robin, but like, I thought it would be more like
Later.
later and like more explosive than that. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, Neve, which if anybody's reading it, that's how you pronounce Niamh. Neve. It's Irish.
Yes, but still a shock. This friend that just comes in and Graves is like, WTF? And
What are
they
you doing
explode.
here?
Of course, he knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to mention also, she makes a comment, or they're talking about Ethan a little bit, and she's like, yeah, I'm pretty positive the reason Ethan is MIA is so that Lorcan can get Kierce to call him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wants that. He wants the will of the wisp on his side of things.
Mm-hmm. That's all I
Ashley,
got.
do you have any? I dropped my jelly beans. Anything to add?
This whole first section was just kind of slow for me. Like when we get to the very end, it was really good, but like it was a little slower for me.
Okay. Well, Neve and Graves obviously know each other. Kierce is like, wait a second, the Robin. Jen's like, what's a Robin? She's talking. Neve is saying things like, you haven't changed at all. Like, you can't give a straight answer, which is very true. He likes to answer questions with
Mhm.
another answer. But does confirm that she's the Oak King's, the Oak King's version of the Rent. So what Kierce is to Graves, she is to Lorcan.
Which
And
is so very interesting how they're like their downfall.
yeah, I don't quite understand it.
Yeah,
Like,
me either.
they have to have them, but they also don't have, like, I don't know. It's more
Yeah.
metaphorical than I thought it was actually gonna be.
Yeah, and it's like they're on their respective side where you would assume they would be on the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting.
But what everybody was worried about is, like, Lorcan sent her, like, we can't trust her anymore, and Lorcan did send her, so, you know,
Mhm.
we're there. Can we trust her? She's a high priestess, which I don't know that I feel like Jen's too nice to say something, but it had to be a little hurtful to her because she's also a high
Yeah.
priestess. And
She's
to
like the
use
high
somebody,
priestess.
yeah, she is. No, I don't know that she is the top high priestess, but she's like equal with Lorcan, right?
No, she's not equal with Lorcan. Lorcan, she
They're very
explains,
close.
is the top.
Yeah, no, it's just how they describe her in another chapter. Like
Okay.
it's how it sounded, but I don't know.
Yeah, but that was a little like, man, I wish you had told us, but she had been at least unofficially trading Jen and Kier's. Jen helping her get to know her magic a little more. Kier's helping her figure out hers and
Mhm.
find books in the bookstore and everything. And Lorcan had sent her, but because Neve is okay. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. This is better when I type, but I can't do the typing. Sorry. Lorcan sent Neve because he thought Graves could be controlling Kier's. So I don't even think it was like he wanted tabs on Kier's. He wanted to make sure that Graves didn't have tabs on Kier's.
Yeah.
But Neve insists that she has not been one to report it back to Lorcan. She came there with the intent. She saw two girls that seemed pretty lost and decided to befriend them and help them out.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to see Ocean. No, how did I say it earlier? I said Ocean.
Ocean.
Well,
Something
it's
like that.
Ocean. I
yeah,
think it's
you pronounce it like AW, and then SHEN. Ocean. It's an Irish name. It's weird.
I listened to the audio and it didn't feel like that, but I don't remember. I'm not good with names.
Are you okay? What
There's a
was?
fly.
Oh,
But anyways, she insists like we'll go there and he can confirm my intentions. Neve didn't know about these nightmares. She had no idea like what the whole intention of the bracelet and that Kier's wanted to get into the market. And so yeah, that's kind of where the end of that chapter landed.
Yeah. Jen is definitely upset. I can't find that specific thing. I also found it interesting that they were so easily forgiven of that,
They seem very forgiving about literally everything.
besides Graves.
yeah. I don't know where I stand on Neve. I haven't decided still.
Even if she ends up being a good person, like, I don't like this. Like, I would have absolutely been like, what the hell? Get out. I need a
Yeah.
second. Like,
looked
it's
up the-
almost as if there was zero reaction.
Yeah.
Looked up the name. It says it rhymes with machine, so it's Asheen.
A sheen.
A sheen?
Asheen.
Okay.
Like
That's the Irish
sheen.
pronunciation of it. Asheen. It doesn't make any sense, but that's a lot of
No.
Irish names.
Whatever happened to Johnny? Like the rugby captain back in the day. His name was Johnny.
Oh, you don't. Hannah and I both watched Sarah J. Maas's book announcement,
Mhm.
and she talked about how she like very intentionally names her male characters. She's like, you can't have like this goddess of a man and his name be Frank.
Yeah.
It just and
so true.
then she talked about the King of Hybern, which was like the villain in the first part in the books. And she's like, people ask really deep questions that she's like, I don't even know. Like somebody asked what his name was, and she's like, Frank. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in the next book. That's what Hannah just made me think of. It went on a whole tangent. They can't have that kind of boring ass name in a fantasy book.
No. Chapter
I'm
13?
just saying.
Okay.
Or they
So
should give us the pronunciation with it the first time.
Yeah.
There's probably a pronunciation log somewhere.
I looked for it. There was one. I was thinking there was one in this one because there's one in Brimstone, and that's what I'm reading right now. But there's not. I got it mixed up. But as she runs the bookstore, the girls spend most of their time in trying to learn about their powers. Great. When they go in here, Graves is unnerved. at the state of these books. They're like moldy and falling apart and dusty. He even talks about how could anybody let their books get this way, and talks about how he uses magic to preserve his. He seems very offended. When Asheen makes his way up there, he greets him with knowing, like he's known him as well. Calls him Brennan. Graves hates it. We still haven't gotten any indication of why he doesn't go by the name, right?
Maybe just because it was his born name.
Maybe. He has a lot of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we get into another one of these like kernels of truth from the fairy tales, right? So I don't even remember why the story comes up. I think that Kyrus is just talking about her getting to know Asheen. It tells a story of Neve, who is the robin's namesake. She was a fairy who fell in love with a human, and they moved to fairyland. And he needed to go back to the human lands. But she told him, "You can go back, but you can't ever leave your horse." Then he fell off, aged immediately, and was stuck in the human land without his love. And now he no longer ages. So he's stuck in this old age, running the bookstore, not knowing if he's ever going to see his true love again because she's in fairyland. So she's talking about that, and then she goes into how he has been helping her because of his history with fairies, learn about the fairies and more about the wisps, what powers she does have, what powers she could possibly come into, but she's still unsure if she has them at all. And she even considers the fact that maybe being glamored for so long affected her ability to do some of the things that they say wisps can do. But a lot of it is lore. A lot of it's about them being a light that she goes into lots of detail about the wisps themselves and how they were perceived, but kind of does like what the common powers were.
Yeah.
And first, whenever they're talking about they're trying to figure out how to get her memories back without having to go in the market. And Neve offers the druid help. Everybody's hell no. And so Graves is like, well, we can go to the Covenant and the witches could help. Again, that's a no. They don't think that witch power, like that science or the witches are science, but the magic could help with it. I think nobody is powerful enough.
And
And
who
so
would
Kyrus
want to
is
work with Mafe again? That's wild.
right. That bitch. I can't believe she even has a job still. He wrecked her shit.
I know.
She should have gotten let go.
Yeah, I thought
caused
she was
some
like
drama.
on the run. Oh wait, I guess it killed him, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but I just ended up with Kyrus's stubborn ass insists on taking them to the market. So she's going and they're going tonight.
Yeah.
And she doesn't care. Like, this is what she needs to do. So Graves is obviously going to go with her.
The only thing I think is she does here explain to Jen that it's memories, not nightmares, because Jen hadn't learned that yet.
Yeah, it was all new to Neve. And she's kind of apologetic to Jen because Jen's been helping her. And it wasn't doing anything. I think she even said that it just stopped helping at some point. I don't remember if it was not in that chapter or the other one.
Yeah, she's obviously just desperate for answers. She's going through like quite
existential crisis.
Yeah.
Very much so.
She
has been since she walked into Graves' house and he caught her.
Yeah. She's like, my parents are dead. There are no more Fae. I'm the last of my entire race. I need answers, and this is how I get them. So she is desperate.
And then in chapter 14, was that it? In chapter 14, they are waiting in line to get into the market. We learn a little bit here about the goblins, that they're passing out like inline goblin fruit, which is very addictive fruit that really causes the downfall of the person that becomes addicted to it. But for the goblins, it provides power and increased vitality for the market. So how the market entrances are built and how it sustains itself is dependent on these goblins getting more people addicted to the fruit.
Yeah.
And Neve shows up and she's like, I'm going with you guys. So they're all hanging out. They say no thank you to the fruit. They have their own ways of getting in. And then when they get up to the front, Kyrus finds her friend Fran the goblin. He seems rather shocked that she showed up here. And she has the bracelet and his buddy's like, dude, what? I just picture him being like, you had her get that? He was like, it was a joke. Like, I didn't think she was gonna get it at all. She's trying to like bargain for more, but he's like, we made an agreement, a coin for the bracelet. He calls her a cheat in some form or fashion, and it gets everybody's heckles rising. Like some of the other goblins are starting to move towards her. So she's like, the motto of the market is a gift for a gift. So she says that, and she hands it over, gets the coin she needs to get in. Neve already had a coin that she just picked up from headquarters. And I'm sure Kirsten didn't say it, but she's like, you just had a coin?
Yeah.
She was like, can you have just given me your coin, bitch? And then Graves, I forgot what he gave him to get in.
He had a coin
He
too.
had a coin.
Oh, he just had a coin. Yeah, sneaky guy. He also did not offer Kira the coin.
Well, she
But
didn't
yeah, and then they
exactly
went in.
go ask anybody. She just went and did the damn
Yeah.
thing.
True. That's all I had for chapter 14. It was basically them just getting in there. And then they got in with no problems after that.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a banter. Neve is like, "Are you two always like this?" And Graves is like, "No," and Graves is like, "Yes."
Yes.
So she's noticing like
Their
their
old married couple
uniqueness,
kind
yeah.
of like, yeah.
Mhm.
They're,
Which-
and that's, I think a couple of characters have said it that like Graves needs somebody that doesn't put up with his shit, essentially.
Mhm.
And that's Kier's.
Yeah, and Neve's like, "No wonder Lorcan sent me to watch you. Anyone that could keep Graves on his toes must be valuable."
And double.
And then was just going to reiterate the goblin fruit, most addictive and deadliest in humans specifically, don't survive.
Yeah, and it's even banned more like they're like, sure, vampires can use humans for blood banks. Sure, wraiths can like suck people's souls, but goblin fruit, nah, that stuff's
Yeah.
not allowed.
Yeah.
And it makes the goblin salty.
Yeah. 15?
Okay. So, chapter 15. So, the next 5 chapters, technically, I feel like could have all been one chapter. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll go through them pretty swiftly. So, they get into the market and it is gross. It is dirty. It is like dark, dank, and just dirty. And
Before we started recording, we compared it to
yeah,
not Diagon Alley, but Diagon Alley.
yeah.
That was Ashley.
That was me. And their goal right now is to find what you call a bookkeeper. They're basically like
A bookie.
they remind me of like the appendix of a book, right? Like they know where to find things, who to look for, who to ask for XYZ, and can easily kind of give you a roadmap to where you need to go for something. And they want to start with Rio, who was mentioned by the 2 guards when they realized that she got the bracelet. They were talking about how
Are you going to take it to
interested
Rio? I missed that.
Rio would be. And there aren't that many bookkeepers. Gary is like, it's going to be easiest if we try to find this Rio person because they should be in the Dublin market. Because we also learned that there are 7 openings to the market, which is Paris, Dublin, New York City, Shanghai, Sao Paulo, Lagos, Istanbul, and Rome. So, and they kind of go into detail of like how it's mapped out, but they're basically spokes on a wheel. And you can only exit through the portal that you entered in. Most likely because it was so the goblins found that quote unquote market. It wasn't a market at the time. It was basically like a god's tunnel system, is what they compare it to. And the goblins learned how to power it. And so Graves makes the assumption that, yeah, whatever God created, it probably could have gone in and out of any of them. But the goblins only have so much power. So
Is he the one that says like, wow, that's pretty impressive. We're walking through dead god tunnels that have been repurposed as a black market. The world is a strange place.
yeah. So they go to look for this Rio character, and Graves is he has the most intimate knowledge of the market. Like Neve talks about, she goes down there to buy herbs and whatnot, but she doesn't really dilly-dally in the market itself. So Graves is the one that kind of takes the lead on getting them in and out of their spaces. And he has an idea of where this Rio is most likely going to be. So they go to this shop, and turns out it is just absolutely destroyed. It's clear that Rio is not there anymore. And Graves does talk. Yeah, Graves does talk about that it's common for bookkeepers to get into scuffles from customers and whatnot, and so they have to move about a bit every now and then. And so the idea at this point is to find a pub so they can, just like any other pub out there, like that's your gossip source. That's where you're going to hear things. That's where you're going to meet people that may know things. They decide
One
to
of
go.
Pierce's go-to tactics there. Sit
Yeah.
in a pub and have a Pierce and
Yeah.
spy on people.
And so Graves is like, oh, I happen to know, where one is. And they're making their way through that, and they have to get up to a different level. So there are actually like floors to this market. And they get to the staircase, and there are these quote unquote guards. They don't know yet if they're legit guards or if they're, just other goblins trying to get around the rules because they're not carrying the same weapons that the guards were at the front. But they're making anybody that passes up to the next floor, they have to buy and eat more goblin fruit. And they show them the coins, and they're like, no, I don't care. You have to eat the fruit. And they're like, yeah, we're not doing that. And so then chaos ensues.
I feel like they were like, look, a bird.
Yeah. Like it was
Different.
very just like 1 second to the next, and then like they're fighting. And of course, with Graves, they have beaten them to a pulp. And then they're like, oh, okay, we should get out of here before their friends come by and see them. So they go up to the next floor, and all of a sudden they hear more guards kind of running after them. So now they are running through this place from.
Are they in New York yet?
No, that's
No.
where they're trying to get to.
Sorry, I'm confused where.
But
I
yeah,
listened to
basically
this
they're
part
on the
too.
run in this market. And that's where the chapter ends.
Okay, wait, no, they're in New York before the chapter ends.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I missed that part.
Okay.
So then they make it through.
Because that was the thing, right? They're not supposed to be able to go into a different entrance with that same coin. If they're only supposed to be able to, like, if they come from Dublin, they're only supposed to be
They
able to go
can't
back into Dublin.
exit.
They can't exit with the same coin. They can go to any of the markets. They just can't leave through a different.
So like they can't
city.
be in Dublin and then use the markets to go to New York and like then be in New York and like Portal. They can go into that sector, but they can't exit that
That's
way.
what I'm saying. They can't go out of the market into New York. That's what I was saying.
Into
They're not
actual
supposed-
New York City.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That they just can't get out of the market at that portal or that exit. They can only go out of the market at the exit they came in from. So they snuck through it, right? That's why everybody's pissed.
No.
They were in the New York market.
They were in the Dublin market. They took the staircase to the New York market. So they're able to enter the other markets from markets. They cannot exit the other markets from.
Okay, I thought they had gone out
into
of
the
market.
real world.
Because
No.
they're talking about like seeing New York City.
Yeah, she said it's
Okay.
very
I
similar.
just
Like
got
it's
confused.
So
It's
the
almost
Dublin
like
market takes on the visage of old world, very like I think of it of like 13th to 15th century style. But when they get to the New York market, it is very much like
it's just like a glam arts version.
yeah,
Gotcha. Like a mimicry of the world.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But
Okay.
they're in various markets for the next 5 chapters.
Oh shit.
What I was going to point out there
thank you.
too, like when she enters to New York, she's, reminiscing, like we said, she has like a passion for her love for New York. And Graves obviously takes the opportunity. He's like, it's waiting for you to come home, as am I.
Yeah.
Just sweet.
Beautiful, isn't it? I didn't realize such it's meat.
Anything else? Okay. So 16. They make it to the pub, and it is pretty normal for a pub. It's dirty, it's full of monsters, but the gist is the same that you would find in any back end pub in New York City. And they get a table, and that's how I have him in my notes. Graves has told them that he had reached out to a contact that he knows that could
When
help
is he
them
doing all
find.
these things?
I don't know. I feel
Just
like
like
I
meta
skipped.
glasses on.
Yeah. It's also one of those, like, I know they brought up that he has a cell phone that worked in the market, and I feel like that could have been the only appropriate time for him to do that, but it doesn't really give us any detail on it, so it was
It's very, very
kind of like an
sneaky.
afterthought. Yeah. But this source is going to meet them there, and his name is Vale. And so they get a table, and Graves goes to get them some pints so that they can kind of fit in. And he comes back with them, and the waitress had come by and was hitting on Neve for whatever purpose that adds to the story. As they're sitting there waiting for Vale, this troll or part troll
Wait, real quick
dude.
though.
Yeah.
This whole interaction before them, when they're talking about like Vale's a warlock, he's the child of a warlock, and they're like, does he hate you? We have a complicated relationship. And Kira's
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
is he your kid?
Is he yours?
I was like, is he?
I will say
No.
I did have like not an existential crisis, but almost, where I was like, how many kids does he have that he doesn't know about because people hate him?
I don't know.
I'm sure you would know.
Sorry, go on then.
Okay. So this troll dude strolls up to the table and like puts down a piece of paper in front of Graves and is like, "Is this you?" And it is a bounty with a price of $2 million or 2 million whatever.
Goblin marks.
Yeah. And like there's this whole interchange of like,
What'd you do?
yeah, Neve and Kears are like, "Well, just pay him off. Like he'll probably take half to just walk away." And the troll's like, "No, that I can take you or you can come with me, like one way or the other." And of course, that's not going to go down. So a fight ensues, which then erupts into a full on bar brawl. Like people that aren't even involved are fighting with each other, just like most bar fights. And just like the whole bar is involved at that point. And so they finally take down the troll to whatever sense, and they go to run for the door, and it turns out he has backup.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah. And so they kind of divvy up, like, you take these two, I'll take those two, and whatnot. Pierce takes out one of hers, and then the other one gets the upper hand and stabs her in the side of her gut. Like, it's a pretty bad one. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, knight in shining armor comes up and cuts the guy's
Who
head
could it
off.
be?
Yeah. And this guy is like, "Hey, is this yours?" Talking to Graves about Kears. And it turns out that this knight in shining armor is actually Vale. And Graves is, of course, freaking out like, "I'm McGinn, not McKears." And
Muckers.
and Vale's like, "We'll take her to my place," one of his many safe houses in the market. And that's kind of where it ends.
Do you guys think the Queen of Versailles, the Queen of the Nymphs, is the one that sent the bounty hunter?
I
Because she
have
would have
no
a picture
idea.
of him.
Yeah,
She would have a picture of him, but probably like not a picture of Kiers to say like
that could
or
be.
Lorcan.
Or he could just be a dick, and he's had a bounty out in the market for a while because he wasn't supposed to be in Ireland.
Yeah, that's where my
Oh,
head
yeah.
went. I didn't even think about it being relevant to now.
Yeah, I
But
just
it
took
could
the
be
assumption of
either.
he's an asshole, and I'm not surprised he has a bounty.
But it would make sense for them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be
We
interesting.
still don't know what he did, obviously.
Anything else? Cool. 17. Kears comes about. She wakes up, and she's in this dingy little space that is his safe house, and Neve is actually healing her. And we learn that Vale and Graves have actually known each other for 500 years, which they don't really go into detail about it, but I thought that was interesting. And she finally is healed enough to kind of move about a little bit. And so she goes and sits at the table with Graves and Vale. as Neve is trying to replenish her magic because it took a lot out of her to heal Kier's. And Vale is kind of hitting on Kier's and is like, oh, you should hang about for a little bit in the market with me. I can show you some of my other places. They have all these jewels and la-di-das. And she's like, nah, I'm good. It was kind of weird, but whatever.
Well,
Mhm.
the whole thing of that is Graves is like, you know, she can take care of herself. She's good. And he's like, oh, I see she's taken for. And she's like, no, I'm
Yeah,
not.
I mean, that's true. So Neve comes out and she's ready to go now. However she replenishes her power, she's managed to do so. And so they set out, and Vale takes them to the door of a shop, which is relatively new, and it is the current location of Rio. And Graves is like, yeah, I'll get you your payment topside or whatever. And he's like, oh, I know you're good for it. We do not know what his payment is, I don't think. But
There was
should
this
be
whole
interesting.
interaction earlier where I think it was at the same bookkeeper's place at the Goblin Market had like a beware of dog
Hmm.
sign, and they were giving Graves shit, and he was like, dogs love me. And he kind of dropped it. And they walk into this place and it's more like a lizard and it loves Graves.
Yeah.
Like, what? Is he a dragon?
Yeah.
But there's an acidic saliva.
Yeah, no, thank
It's
you.
like a Komodo.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I'm going to have to watch that tonight. I've been watching 90s movies all day. Okay. So they meet Rio, which I don't know if this part confused you guys, but it was like the author intentionally did not give us the gender of Rio. They're
Yeah.
always
Didn't
referred
notice.
to in
As they.
the they, them, whatever.
Pronouns.
Yeah. It was really disconcerting and I didn't like it because I
Why?
couldn't picture like this person. I couldn't get a sense of like, so in the movie that plays in my head as I read, like they're literally like a blurred out figure. I didn't like that.
Well, later we find out it's a brother, right?
No, because they only refer to Rio as their sibling. Yeah.
No, I didn't catch that. I assumed it was a man.
Like,
It
it drove me
didn't faze
crazy.
me at all whatsoever.
So, okay. So she tells Rio what she needs, and he's like, oh, yeah, I know who you can get that from, but payment is going to be a sample of your blood. And like everybody's like, nope, absolutely not. He's like, it's either that or because they offer the location of the bracelet of the queen, and he was like, that's not good enough. But I'll take the location of the bracelet, and you have to answer 3 questions honestly. And Graves tries to like give him all this stuff, and he's like, no, I already told you what I want. And so Kierce actually agrees begrudgingly, but she does agree. And so he asks her what her true name is, what the nature of her magic is, and then finally what her monster is. And she again, like by the time she answered number 2, like they all knew that he knew, but like he wanted
Yeah, they're
verbal
very
confirmation.
intuitive, obviously.
Yeah.
Like pitting the fact that there's somebody that's associated with the druids with
Mhm.
Graves. So it's something, whatever Kier's is something that would be of interest to both parties.
Yeah.
So I think they were just really intuitive about the whole situation.
Yeah. So she does finally tell him, and you get a very ominous vibe or from them. I don't know. So Rio turns over the location and we move on to the next chapter. Anybody going once?
They're going to go see somebody named Riz. Which is like a word that like the new generation of kids is using, right?
I think
Like
that
they
is
have
one of those
Riz.
words.
It is one of those words. Probably not because this is probably not why it was chosen for the book, but that's all I thought about.
Yeah. Okay.
You're fly if you got Riz.
I was just gonna add at the beginning of the chapter, they're talking about who do you know that can take memories, and Graves said it was the spell, which is nothing like my magic. It is more likely a druid. And
Trying to
Neve's
point
like,
fingers.
don't you dare! But well, it's
We will
an
see.
option. We didn't know that they even held those powers until
And
that.
they use spells. Because like
Because that's
that's
how Lorcan
how
got into the house.
yeah, he uses spells to get through the boards and stuff. So they have magic.
Yeah,
not a
but
lot.
it was limited.
Yeah.
And this is supposedly a very strong
Yeah.
magic that
Yeah.
he's saying is relatable to druids.
Which I'm gonna make a comment about that at the very end. But okay. So they get the address and it's in Shanghai. Or the Shanghai market. So there's only one way into the Shanghai market. They get up to the line to get to the Shanghai market, and it is an elevator, and you've got goblins shoving these people in like to capacity to the point where like in one of them, some guy like got his shoulder injured in the elevator, like there's blood and whatnot, and they're still just like shoving him in there so they can close the elevator. And so it's their turn to get on the elevator, and super full. Kier's is having a hard time breathing, and some human, I equate it to like what we would see like a junkie style, like very like the glassed over eyes, and she's like the goblin fruit is so amazing, and Kier's of course can't keep her mouth shut and is like,
Don't engage.
yeah, and she says something offhand, and Gravesellers tells her not to engage, but of course, this human is like, no, they're like the most magical thing, da da da. And she somehow like she goes to like shove it toward her, and the juice gets on Kier's face. Kier's is freaking out. The fruit drops on the ground, so everybody in the elevator is like going for it and whatnot. There's already no more space, so it's just absolute havoc. And Kier's is about to like have a panic attack because she's got this fruit on her face, and Graves is like,
get it off.
yeah. Graves is cleaning it off, and they finally get off this stupid elevator, and she's like full blown panic attack. She's like bent over, trying to catch her breath, and Graves is like, "It's fine. It didn't get in your mouth or your eyes. Like, get your shit together. We got shit to do." And she's
This
like,
place
"Okay,
is trying to kill me.
yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, I told you it would." And so they're officially in the Shanghai market, and of course, Graves again knows where they're going and leads the way. They find the shop, and when they knock on the door, the shopkeeper's spouse comes to the door with a very cranky goblin baby. And she's like, oh God, like, who did Rio send this time? Like, clearly the shopkeeper does a lot of free business for Rio, or is not very good at haggling.
It sounds like that he's like Riz is like kind and takes on a lot of charity cases.
Yeah.
And his wife is pissed about it. We have a baby to feed.
Yeah. So he finally comes down and is talking to them, and he's like, oh, I know what you're gonna need. And the spouse is like talking to the shopkeeper and in Mandarin, and he looks at them and is like, oh yeah, well, she says it's gonna be like $250,000. And Graves is like, yep, totally done. Well, I'll do it. And it's very clear, like he's just ready to be done with this and get out. And it turns out it is going to be a 3-part magic potion like drink. So the first one is a smoother to help order the memories. The second is intent to push it in the direction of the correct memories. Now the third one is called memory. So she just take these 3 potions, she has to do it in order. And as soon as she takes them, she needs to lie down somewhere soft. And then that's where we end that chapter.
I'm confused about the memory situation. So,
Well, it's just called memory, kind of like intent. Because Graves was like, oh, yeah, intent. Like magic is all about intent. And he's like, no, it's called intent. So I think it's just the name of the little potion.
and Neve is able to check out some of them. Like, it seems legit.
Yeah. All right. 19. And they are back in the real world in the Dublin apartment, which I'm actually really glad she did not go into detail as to how the hell they were going to get out of there, because I was not in the mood to sit there and read through them going through 3 cities in this place.
You're done with the market.
I was done with the market. So as soon as they walk in, Jenna's like, oh my God, like I hadn't been able to like get any kind of reading on you guys. It was like I was completely shut off from you guys, which Neve explains is because of like the older magic in the market or whatever. So it kind of blocks everything. And so Jen is like, well, I want to do a reading on you now before you take these potions or whatever. And with the first card, she tips over. Of course, it's the magician, which they have associated with Graves. And she's like, well, of course, you're going to need an anchor for this.
Well, and just to tie in the first book, the only time she pulled her card, it was also the magician.
Mhm.
You see, all tied together.
Yeah. And when they pulled that card, everybody turned and looked at Graves immediately, which I thought was funny. But Graves agrees. And then Kierce is like, all right, fine. Like at first she wasn't really into it, but then she was like, yeah, it's fine. So they go into the
Question.
bedroom. Yeah.
Real quick though. Neve very pointedly says, you think you should anchor her?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that ties into the end of the section?
I don't know.
Like Lorcan and them know? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, you think?
I don't know.
Or it could have just been like, you think you should instead of, because Neve wanted to do it
Yeah, that's true.
with her being a high priestess or whatever.
I'm a high priestess.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So they go to the bedroom and she takes off her jacket, lays down, and he's like, he takes off his gloves and whatnot, and he's like, I'm not gonna be able to read you, but I'm gonna hold you through this, whatever. Like,
She's like, there's those fingers I like.
yeah.
Heck.
And so she takes the potions, and that's where that chapter ends.
Yeah, just adding, like, Jen was even, because Neve was like, I could do it. And Jen was like, Graves is stronger. Like, Graves needs
Yeah.
to be the one to do it. And
Yeah.
we don't know
First
that
off-
Jen doesn't like Graves, but she's not like,
I don't
She's
feel like
not
she has a
his-
problem with it. Like, she kind of got he called her Prophet Genesis, when
mhm.
he showed up at the apartment. And she was kind of like,
Yeah.
I was gravely, pun intended, disappointed that not one of the three of them was like, you've been lying this whole time and you're on the oak side and now you want to be this anchor on our side. Like, no,
Obviously they're
push
dogs
off.
and
Yeah. That's
I
a good
don't
point.
trust you like that.
Ugh, whatever. Okay. So final chapter. This is where it gets very interesting.
And I wish we had just read one more chapter.
And,
I know.
or not this
Um,
chapter.
It was such a awful way to end it, but honestly, the next chapter is the interlude to this section of the book anyway, so
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't have gleaned much. But
Yeah.
so we start off and she is in the memory and she's kind of from the perspective of of an outsider. So she can move about, but she can't interact with anything. And it starts with she's looking around, it's an older apartment, it's kind of dirty, but not
Small.
really. And it's very small. And somebody's in the shower, and all of a sudden, she hears this kid like, "Daddy, Daddy." And she bursts through the door into the apartment, and she's looking at her and she realizes oh, yeah, that's me. But she had blonde hair, pointed ears, and she's wearing the Ren necklace. And her dad comes out, he from the shower, and he is Scottish. And we find out that his name is Adair, and he has this tattoo of a wooded landscape down his arm with a horned stag at the elbow, and then it all kind of entwines at his wrist into
The Trinity knot.
a Trinity knot. Yeah. But that's all it says, so we're going to leave that until we get more info.
But in case nobody remembers, then Ethan and Kierce form a Trinity or whatever. It was a
Triskel.
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 But it has to do with the Trinity knot, which is tied to the Irish lore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm half convinced he might have actually been a druid. But so and the mom comes in, Shannon.
What a name.
Actually, Shannon, isn't that an Irish name?
Maybe, probably.
I don't know, but we've
it's
got
still
Neve, O'Sheen, and Shannon.
and the dad's name's Adair, and her name's Shannon.
I support it.
Calm
Aliens-
down, Shannon. Yours is fine.
the aliens need to blend in.
Oh, it's yeah.
Well,
Okay, I wasn't gonna say. I was gonna say something. My mom was gonna say.
And she looks very similar to Kier's. Like she has the blonde hair. They have the same color eyes. And we learn that it's actually the dad and I think the grandpa that were teaching Kier's to be a thief. And so she's had these skills since before she met Jason. And we learn that they were clearly already on the run and in hiding from someone, something. We don't have any details on that yet.
And I just says I'm teaching her life skills. No one's gonna find her all the way over here. For now, we're safe.
Yeah. And which is when Shannon mentions that she heard back from her contact. And he's like, well, can you trust them? And she's like, well, we can't really trust anyone, but we know what side of this that he's on. So, like, that's all we hear about this contact.
This would be pre-monster treaty, right? Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the memory jumps and they're all in a car in a tunnel driving somewhere. And as they're coming out of the tunnel and Kirsty's kind of looking around, she's starting to recognize where they are. And then the car pulls up to this house and she's like, oh, no.
The underground elevator situation.
Yeah. And they,
Batman.
she immediately recognizes and is confirmed that it is actually Graves's house. And Edgar answers the door and ushers them to the Holly Library.
Fucking Edgar.
And Isolde comes in and she is younger and offers like snacks, drinks, a cookie for the kiddo. And they're like,
It's
no,
a biscuit.
which is a cookie anyways. And then
Shannon
comes
said
Graves.
no anyways.
Yeah, just no.
Shannon.
They're taking nothing from nobody because they trust nobody. And I don't disagree with them at this point. So Graves comes in and he seems very like antagonistically weary of them. And he's like, you know, why are you here? And it's very, oh, you don't already know? And he's like, I recognize a wisp when they're in my home.
This fucking guy acted like he'd never seen one in his life.
That
And it's
no,
been-
he did not.
No, he
And
didn't.
he said hundreds of years he hasn't seen one in a very, very long time.
He didn't say hundreds of years.
He
He
did not
said
say
a
hundreds
very,
of years.
very long time. 20 years
3
is not
decades is a long time.
It is not. It's 20 years, first of all, because she's in her mid-20s.
We don't know
Second-
everything.
But I'm just saying, like, this fucking guy.
You are very on edge with Graves this book. I was going to say that earlier.
This is why. This is why, like, he betrayed her trust. But, like, how is she not fucking pissed right now? Why is
We don't know.
Why
She
is
might be
small child
pissed.
her there?
I don't
She's
think
not
that
acting
he
like it. She's like-
knows that he remembers this to be her.
How often does a little baby wisp get brought into his care? 20 years ago, that's like a flicker in time for his life.
I
there's
guess we'll
something-
find
there's
out.
something
I
squirrely
would be
going
I also
on.
feel like it was very.
That's why I'm mad.
Oh, I think this interaction was very, like, non-essential to his existence.
right.
For him.
Well, yeah, like he does not
But
remember this.
That's the point. For
There's
him.
no way. His job is knowledge. He doesn't forget shit, guys. Unless he got like his memories taken away. He doesn't just forget this.
You don't know
he
he
remembers
did it.
everything.
I
You don't
had
know that the
considered
spell that
he
was put on
also
her
got
did
memories
not
taken
mute
away, yeah.
everybody else's memories of her existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would be his only.
No,
Like,
don't
but,
say
like,
only. You're
yes.
going to back yourself into a corner where I'm going to say, ha
I'm
ha,
saying-
later.
No, I'm just saying like that would be his only redeeming thing if his memories
In
were
your
taken away.
eyes.
Because there's no way he wouldn't just remember it because he is knowledge. This is why I'm feeling sassy with him.
Like somebody's taken a hit of the dramatic juice today.
I'm
He's
not getting
passionate
that
about
vibe
it.
with him. I think he is very remorseful for what happened. And like he would not I just can't believe like this whole time he knew her parents. Like no, because he didn't even know who she was.
That's what he said.
God.
Okay, so I'm going to keep going and we'll get to this probably by the, 3rd episode maybe. But so let's see. Oh yeah. And the mom is like, "Oh yeah, I'm not here to kill you because remember, a wisp can kill a warlock." And he's like, "I'm impressed that you think that you could inside my own library." And so it gets very tense. Adair's trying to like calm things down. He's like, "Hold on, like that's not what we're here for. We're here to protect our daughter." And he was like, "Well, you could leave her with me." And they're like, "Absolutely not. Like, that's wild." And the dad offers up a knife for whatever Graves is going to suggest next, which is he does know of a spell, but he would have to retrieve it. And Graves is like, the knife would be enough for the spell, but it's not enough for me to have to retrieve the spell as well. My time is more valuable, apparently. And but he says there is another that could do the spell. And he's like, Killian Ryan, which they're like, "Oh my God, he's a rogue druid." Like, absolutely not. So we do find out from this interaction that they are very much like no druids. Like, it is clear that the druids must be the ones behind
And
why they're
Lorcan is
hiding.
specifically brought up.
Well, did you say that they, whenever Shannon's saying that Kyrsta's in danger, that the Fae killer is onto them? And they
Mm-mm.
don't know how he knows where they're going, but they need to hide her from him. The Fae killer.
Yeah. Which we don't know who that is, and we don't really know to the extent, but we do know at some point back in the past, like there used to be wisps until somebody went around and like killed them all out of existence. But we never got more info on that. But they're very unsure of, reaching out to this rogue druid. But Graves tells them that the knife is worth more than the name, and goes off into the library, comes back with an amulet and says to take it and offer it as trade for a casting. Um and then that is like Kierce has this internal monologue about like the name alone was helpful. Like he was honestly being helpful in that moment. And so she's not currently taking a negative from this memory. Like she does see that he was trying to help them, but he also never really looks at the kid. Like he does at the very end a little bit. And she notices like his eyes kind of warm to the idea of this kid, but he's very just dismissive of her presence in all of this. And then the memory dissolves and the chapter ends.
And he does at one point suggest they leave her with him.
Yeah.
They like, if you want her to be safe, and they're like, yeah, no, that's not happening.
Chrissy,
All
do you feel the
right.
need to expand on your earlier expulsion of
I don't get how you
anger?
guys weren't mad when you read this. Like him being in her life 20 years ago.
He doesn't
I
know.
am open to the opportunity that the spell in this actually would have at least dimmed others'
Like maybe
recollection
it
of her.
backfired. I don't know.
I
but
just
like,
don't think he's blatantly lying. Like he
Yeah.
says the only magic could be from a druid. He says like
I just
he
doesn't
doesn't know
explode.
what's happening either.
Like when she comes out of this memory, how does she not explode on him? Like, excuse me, why were you in my memory when I was a child? Like, I don't care what you were doing trying to help my family. Like, that's against the point. Like, why was I in the same room as you?
Why would he know her at like she has to be like 3 or 4 years old?
6. But
She
also,
recognized herself. I mean, it is her, but
well,
he seems to
she
love
does
her.
with the nuance of understanding that the spell actually changed her current appearance. It darkened her hair. It did something else like with her eyes and like the
It
spell
morphed her
caused
face.
physical changes and not just the ears. Like
But he was not forthcoming about wisps. Like from
I'm gonna
how
need you
I'm
to get
not
over
saying
that. That was book
I'm not
1.
saying, but I'm not saying he was deceptive about it. But I'm saying he made it very much seem like never like in a long time in his long life that he's known one And he did not make it seem like it was recent. And this is 2 wisps in his presence at the same time, mother and daughter.
You don't know that he wasn't
I didn't.
talking
I don't
about the
think he
same wisp.
quantified it. And yeah, I'd have to go back and find that.
I honestly just don't think this memory is important to him. Like, this interaction was not,
Yeah.
How is it not
Earth-shattering.
important to Kierst? How is it not earth shattering to her?
it wasn't important to him at that time. Imagine being 500 years old. And do you remember what happened 5 years ago
Don't
on
ask me
May
about
13th?
my remembering. His
A
job is
miss-
to remember things.
Okay, well, the last of this chapter is a mystery she was still grappling with as the memory dissolved. So we don't even know. She could be angry. That could be
Yeah.
the first sentence of the next chapter that
That's
she's
what I'm saying.
pissed off.
She should be.
Well,
Well,
anywho, I
to each
enjoyed
their
this
own.
section and am happy about the pace. Again, I think just like the size of the book, we're getting a lot of info right at the beginning. I did not see this coming.
I didn't see Graves being in her memory either.
No, that
I was delightfully surprised by that.
yeah, I liked that a lot. And yeah, so something obviously happens to her mother because the other memory is just her and her dad. This one has her mother.
Yeah. And we
So
and I will say, like, when we talked about when we read about the first nightmare that we find out is a dream, like, she heard screaming and, like, high-pitched screaming. So I think they're both actually dead. Like, I think she only saw the dad in that
Yeah.
memory, but I think they were both there and they're dead.
I remember that too.
The Fae killer got them, you think?
Yeah, I think they both
It
be
would
dead.
make more sense for it to be a warlock killing off wisps
Mhm.
because they can kill warlocks.
Yeah.
Perhaps, unless there's something that we don't know.
Well, there's a lot that we don't know.
Yeah.
So join us for next episode to find out.
Yeah, let's
More
find out if Christy is aligned with Kierst in her.
She is not as strong as I thought she was. If she's not pissed about this,
That is
she is too
so
forgiving.
unfair. That is
No.
absolutely unfair. You
In
do
your
not live
opinion.
her life. And how dare you judge another human?
Like Ashley does ever judge a human.
Oh my god, I know.
Bitch.
That was very righteous.
I judge everybody, but I judge them all equally.
And she's a character in a book, and
Yeah.
I'm allowed to judge her.
You're unfairly.
Everybody's opinions are
You're
accepted here.
assuming how she's going to react poorly in your expectations. I'm just saying. Give her a chance.
Okay. What an interesting turn of events we have here.
I just cannot believe we're not on the same page. That you guys weren't like, why
I'm
is he
not
there?
actually disagreeing
I
with
am
you. Like,
Shocked.
I don't have enough information to determine if I'm mad or not.
This whole thing, like, oh, Graves is lovey-dovey. He's so remorseful, and we're going to turn the page here.
I'm like, he's still using her as a pawn. She has every right not to forgive him yet.
I mean,
Why?
100% make him fucking grovel. But what we're getting from his side is intentional. So we'll find out next week. We're going to jump right into the chapter and see how she feels about this. See, hopefully, what Graves has to say for himself. And I expect a lot of answers in this one.
Better get him.
Like,
she is
subscribe,
worked up.
comment, come back,
Don't
fight in the
take Christy's,
comments.
Christy's usually the light and airy one, and she's angry today.
Yeah, who agrees?
Clearly.
I had a rough week.
Let's
That's all
have a
that time
poll.
alone you've had the last day.
It's literally been like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Love y'all. Love you,
Love
sisters.
you. Bye,
Bye.
sisters.
Okay, I have to find this.